Nicholas Grant stood outside his mansion on Christmas Eve, watching snow fall on his empty driveway. At 41, he'd built Grant Industries into a billion-dollar empire. But tonight, like every night, he was returning to an empty house. His wife had died 5 years ago, and he'd thrown himself into work ever since. Filling the void with meetings and mergers, he was unlocking his car when he heard crying. Soft, muffled sobs coming from near the decorative gate at the edge of his property. Nicholas walked toward the sound and found a little girl, maybe 4 years old, sitting in the snow. She wore a pink dress, a thin beige coat, and clutched a stuffed bunny. Her shoes were worn, and she was shivering. "Hey there," Nicholas said gently, kneeling down. "Are you okay? Where are your parents?" The little girl looked up at him with tear-filled eyes. "Please," she whispered. "Please don't let my mom die." Nicholas felt his heart stop. "Where's your mom? Show me." The little girl stood and took his hand, leading him down the street to where an old car sat with its hazard lights on. Through the window, Nicholas could see a young woman slumped over the steering wheel. He tried the door locked. He knocked on the window. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" The woman stirred slightly, but didn't lift her head. "Stand back, sweetheart," Nicholas told the little girl. He used his elbow to break the window, wincing at the sound, then reached in to unlock the door. The woman was burning with fever, barely conscious. On the passenger seat was a bottle of antibiotics and a hospital discharge paper. Nicholas skimmed it quickly. Severe pneumonia. Needed to continue medication and rest. Follow up if symptoms worsened. "Ma'am, can you hear me? I'm calling an ambulance." "No," the woman managed weakly. "No hospital. Can't afford. Need to get Emma home, Mom." The little girl Limo was crying harder now. Nicholas made a decision. "Emma, I'm going to help your mom, but I need you to be very brave, okay?" He called 911, then carefully lifted the woman from the car. She was light to light. He carried her toward his house, Emma following close behind. "What's your mom's name?" Nicholas asked as they walked. "Sarah. Sarah Chen." Inside, Nicholas laid Sarah on his couch. The paramedics arrived within minutes. "She has pneumonia," Nicholas explained, showing them the hospital papers. "She's been discharged, but her fever is very high." The paramedics examined her. "She needs to be hospitalized. This is serious." "No," Sarah mumbled, semi-conscious. "Can't pay. Emma needs me. I'll pay," Nicholas said immediately. "Whatever it costs. Just help her." They took Sarah to the hospital. Nicholas followed in his car with Emma, who clutched her bunny in his hand with equal desperation at the hospital. While Sarah was admitted and treated, Nicholas sat with Emma in the waiting room. She was exhausted, scared, and hadn't eaten. "Are you hungry?" Nicholas asked. Emma nodded. He found the cafeteria and bought her hot chocolate and a sandwich. She ate slowly, watching the door where her mother had disappeared. "Is my mom going to die?" Emma asked in a small voice. "The doctors are taking very good care of her. She's going to be okay. Promise." Nicholas knew he shouldn't make promises he couldn't keep. But looking at this terrified little girl, he said, "I promise I'll do everything I can to make sure she's okay." Emma seemed to accept this. "Thank you for helping us. You're very welcome." "Emma, how long has your mom been sick?" "Lots of days. She kept working, but then she got really sick. We went to the hospital, and they gave her medicine, but she still has a fever. She was trying to drive us home, but she couldn't." "Where's your home?" "The shelter. Mom says it's temporary until she saves enough for an apartment." Nicholas felt something crack in his chest. This woman had been so sick she could barely stay conscious, but she'd been trying to drive herself and her daughter to a homeless shelter on Christmas Eve. Hours later, a doctor emerged. "Mr. Grant, Miss Chen is stable. The pneumonia was more advanced than we initially thought. If you hadn't brought her in tonight, she likely wouldn't have survived. She needs to stay for several days of her antibiotics and observation. Whatever she needs, She's asking for her daughter. Nicholas took Emma to see her mother. Sarah was in a hospital bed with an IV in her arm, pale but conscious. When she saw Emma, tears streamed down her face. "Baby, I'm so sorry. I was trying to get us home." "It's okay, Mommy. The nice man helped us." Sarah looked at Nicholas. "Thank you. I don't know how I'll ever repay you for the hospital bills, but I'll find a way. I'm a graphic designer, freelance. Business has been slow, but it'll pick up. Don't worry about the bills. Just focus on getting better." "I can't accept charity. It's not charity. It's Christmas Eve, and I have more money than I could ever spend, and you need help. Let me help." Over the next few days, while Sarah recovered in the hospital, Nicholas took care of Emma. He brought her to his house, set her up in one of the guest rooms, bought her clothes and toys. He took time off work, something he hadn't done in years, to make sure she was okay. Emma was sweet and resilient, telling him stories about her mom, drawing pictures, asking endless questions about his big house. "Do you have kids?" Emma asked one evening. "No, my wife died before we could have children." "Sad. You'd be a good daddy. You'd take good care of me." Nicholas felt his eyes sting with unexpected tears. When Sarah was finally discharged, Nicholas had a proposition ready. "I have a guest house on my property. It's furnished, has 2 bedrooms. It's warm and safe. I'd like you and Emma to stay there while you recover and get back on your feet." "Mr. Grant, I can't. You need time to recover. Emma needs stability. And honestly, I have space I'm not using. It would make me happy to know it's helping someone." Okay. Sarah looked at Emma, then back at Nicholas. "How much is rent?" "Nothing. Consider it part of my Christmas spirit." Sarah started crying. "Why are you being so kind to us?" "Because Emma asked me not to let you die. And because I have all this money and space and success, but I come home every night to an empty house. Maybe helping you helps me too." They moved into the guest house. Over the following months, as Sarah recovered and rebuilt her freelance business, she and Nicholas became friends. Emma became a constant presence in Nicholas's life, bringing laughter and chaos to his too quiet existence. "You've been incredibly generous," Sarah told him 6 months later. "But Nicholas, we need to talk about moving out. I've saved enough for a deposit on an apartment." "What if you didn't move out?" "I can't live in your guest house forever. What if you moved into the main house with me as my family?" Sarah stared at him. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying somewhere between Emma asking me to save you and watching you fight to rebuild your life and sharing dinner with both of you every night. I fell in love with both of you. I'm saying I don't want you to move out. I want you to stay as my partner, my family." "Nicholas, you barely know us. I know Emma is brave and kind. I know you're the strongest person I've ever met, working through pneumonia, raising a daughter alone, refusing to give up. I know that for 5 years my house was just a building, but with you and Emma here, it's a home." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "I love you too. We both do." A year after that snowy Christmas Eve, Nicholas knelt down in the same spot where he'd first found Emma and asked both of them a question. "Emma, would it be okay if I married your mom? If I became your dad officially?" Emma threw her arms around his neck. "Yes. I asked you not to let my mom die, and you didn't. You saved her. You've saved both of us." At their wedding, Nicholas's toast referenced that night. A little girl whispered, "Please, don't let my mom die, okay?" And in saving them, they saved me. They took my empty house and made it a home. They took my lonely life and filled it with love. Emma, you taught me that sometimes the most important business deals happen on snowy Christmas Eves, and the most valuable investments are the ones made in people who need help. Sometimes a whisper on Christmas Eve changes everything. Sometimes the little girl you help becomes your daughter. Sometimes saving someone's life means they save yours too. And sometimes the empty mansion becomes a home when filled with the family you didn't know you were looking for. If this story touched your heart, please like and share it. Subscribe for more stories about Christmas miracles and unexpected families. Leave a comment about when helping someone changed your life. Your stories inspire us all.